That night, my mind drifted back to college. So many friends who've become successful.
Craig Fisher worked for the White House.
Jason Hatfield had his own hedge fund. Billy Wursler sold his tech company at 40. What do I have? I work for a nonprofit and nothing to show for it.
Hi, I'm Sammy Murrian. Brad's Status is written and directed by Mike White. This stars Ben Stiller, Michael Sheen, Luke Wilson, Austin Abrams, Jermaine Clement, Jenna Fisher, and Mike White himself plays a small role as well. Ben Stiller plays Brad Sloan, an upper-middle-class white guy in Sacramento, California, who runs a successful nonprofit, has a loving wife, played by Jenna Fisher, has a musical prodigy son, played by Austin Abrams, who is on the cusp of getting into Harvard. Despite all of these successes in Brad's life, he can't help but incessantly and clinically compare himself all the time unfavorably to the lives of his 4 best college friends. Michael Sheen plays a successful political pundit and best-selling author. Luke Wilson plays a hedge fund founder. Jermaine Clement plays a tech entrepreneur. And Mike White plays a Hollywood big shot. I really liked Brad's Status a whole lot. I think that this movie definitely explores an important topic, and that is the way that right now we just compare ourselves incessantly to other people. This seems to be a problem more right now than it ever has been. Some of that probably has to do with social media. Certainly some of that has to do with reality TV. I think this is something that most of us don't want to admit at all, because it's really painful to admit that, at times we feel inferior and we're just comparing ourselves to other people. But I think that pretty much everybody does this to some degree. I saw this movie at a really interesting time. I've been rethinking my whole approach to social media. Today actually was a really big day because I got rid of my private personal Facebook. I just decided it was time to shut that down, take a step back. I'm an entertainment journalist, and there are perks of the job, some very exciting things. I mean, you get cool trips, you get to go to really exciting industry events. The biggest perk for me of being an entertainment journalist is that I get to meet extraordinary, amazing people, super talented people. I get to meet them. That is the biggest perk for me. It's amazing. I love it. But as this job has been taking off, I've noticed that I think the life that I might be portraying on my social media is not actually the life that I'm living. I've been getting the impression lately that just because of these little updates that I'll put on my social media, I'll share when things are going well and the cool things in my life. I think people might think that my life is a little more exotic and exciting and, crazy than it actually is. When the cold hard truth is I spend 99.9% of my time, of my days, sitting around the house in basketball shorts, talking to my dog, writing, and eating food from Trader Joe's. That's it. A lot of the time people just want to put what's really great about their lives, and you just get a little snapshot of it on whatever social media it is, Facebook, Instagram. So I've started to be really mindful about how I run my social media and how I project, what's going on in my life out there. I want to, share the fun, cool things that are going on in my life, but I don't want to be a part of the problem. I mean, this is an epidemic. I think that this is just a total epidemic. As I've said, I think more so now than ever because of the role that social media plays in it. And Brad's Status really brings up a whole lot of interesting questions. It really got me thinking, which is certainly something that you want a movie to do. In addition to being provocative and socially relevant, the really big draw with Brad's Status, as is the draw with anything that Mike White does, is the dialogue. I said it in my review of Beatriz at Dinner a little bit earlier this year, and I'll say it again. Nobody in movies or television right now writes dialogue quite like Mike White does. Mike White's characters are really intelligent, yet they speak in a way that, is spontaneous and doesn't seem at all talky or overly scripted. That happens a lot when lesser writers try to write smart people the way that they think that smart people talk. you'll get something that is just way too scripted and talky, and it's a disaster. Mike White's dialogue is just insanely great. I mean, as someone who watches a ton of movies and a ton of TV because it's my job, listening to his, I could just listen to his characters talk all day. I could listen to these people talk about the problems in their lives to each other all freaking day long. If somewhere in a vault there exists like a 6-hour supercut of Brad's status or Beatriz at dinner, I'd be like, fine, I'd watch that. Just, I can't get enough of listening to these people talk. It's like rubbing your ears with velvet. One criticism that I have seen of this movie is, oh, it's white angst. You know, it's, why am I supposed to care? It's an upper middle class white guy who's having trouble being happy. Why am I supposed to care about that? I have that problem with some films I've seen for sure. I felt that way about Steve Jobs. I'll say that. I had a hell of a time trying to care about any of those people in that movie. And the big reason that it isn't a problem for me at all in Brad's status is because I really, really liked these characters a lot. I liked them in spite of all their flaws. I liked them because of their flaws. You can tell that Mike White really likes these people. These are just people who are imperfect and figuring life out just like the rest of us.
Do I sound jaded? I started out as idealistic as any of your friends over there.
You're 50 years old and you still think that the world was made for you.
Oh, I'm 47. Sometimes I worry that people think of me as a failure.
Oh, that's right, you have your little thing. Oh, that is a cool thing that you're doing. That is good stuff.
So no, I mean, I was really, really into this movie. It's just really well made. I mean, even there's like a use of music throughout the movie that I thought was really brilliant. It's this really simplistic score of like violin and flute, but it just sounds like someone's anxiety. Like it sounds like anxiety in music form going through this movie. Just really clever use of music. And the performances are just absolutely terrific in this film across the board. In particular, Ben Stiller is just lovely in this film. Very soulful performance from Ben Stiller. Mike White has a way of taking very big name actors who kind of have a public persona and expectations that we have of them and just flipping that and having fun with that, and he's certainly done that here. I mean, all of the performances in this movie are wonderful, but the one that will really surprise you is Ben Stiller. Pretty much just captivating throughout.
You have 10 minutes.
I just gotta put on my clothes.
You have like the body of a man now.
Hey, Dad, can you not be weird?
Okay.
Can you close my door?
Yeah.
Can you close the door?
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of Brad's status. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Definitely see it. You're gonna have a hard time finding screen dialogue that is much better than this around right now. Period.
Crazy how we made this kid, and now he's this brilliant, amazing person.
I'm proud of you.
Dad, you having some kind of nervous breakdown or something?
There's a movie that I want to give a quick shout out to as well because I just saw it. It's been out for a few weeks and it deals with a lot of the same thematic material as Brad's status about how in this day and age we really, really compare ourselves to other people and it's just kind of a mess. I want to talk a little bit about Ingrid Goes West, which is directed and co-written by Matt Spicer, starring Aubrey Plaza and Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh my god, it's Ingrid Thorburn. I thought she was in an insane asylum.
Live in the sunshine, swim in the sea. Hashtag California.
Aubrey Plaza plays Ingrid, who's a woman who, the movie plays it seriously. She really does have something wrong with her. I think like borderline personality disorder or something like that. And she's an Instagram stalker who thinks that these people that she sees on Instagram, these people with very big followings on Instagram, she thinks that these people are her friends and she takes it way too seriously and she's very unhealthy about it. She starts stalking this Instagram star who's played by Elizabeth Olsen and she moves out to Los Angeles. basically to stalk this person and become her best friend. Some of the biggest laughs that I've gotten in movies all year are in Ingrid Goes West. Like, I laughed my ass off several times in this movie. Just unbelievably funny and sharp and dark and biting observations about this kind of thing, this kind of social media stalking. The movie is also completely dark and depressing. I really liked that about it. The key to Ingrid Goes West working so well is that most of it, I mean, it's pretty much entirely played completely serious. It's a comedy, but this character, this Ingrid person who is sick, she is sick in the head, it's played seriously, and it's a really great performance by Aubrey Plaza. Elizabeth Olsen is also just brilliant in this movie. Elizabeth Olsen is quickly becoming one of my absolute favorites. I loved her in Wind River a few weeks ago, and her character in Ingrid Goes West is, I mean, it's like literally the opposite human. Like, you can't get two people who are more different than these two characters. You know, she was playing an FBI agent who was in over her head in Wind River, and in Ingrid Goes West, she plays a narcissistic Instagram star. And she plays it to perfection. And again, the movie plays it straight. There's nothing jokey. There's no like goofy, funny stuff at all in Ingrid Goes West. The laughs come out of truth. They come out of very clever and fact-based observations about life and the way that we interact with each other in 2017. So just like Brad's status, I enjoyed the hell out of Ingrid Goes West. I'm also giving it an 8 out of 10. That's also the same rating that I gave to Mike White's last movie, Beatriz at Dinner. I gave that an 8 out of 10. You know, if you're looking for a movie or movies with funny, sharp observations about how we live our lives in 2017, these 3 movies are a great place to start. You got Brad, you got Ingrid, you got Beatriz. Definitely recommend all 3 of them. So that's it for now. I'm going to be still playing a little bit of catch up for a while just because I was gone from my channel for so long. Stay tuned because there is a lot more to come. Thank you as always for tuning in. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourselves and be well, everybody. Bye! Bye, thanks! Bye, thanks!